Wolf Brother, Chapter 29. Let's get started. Tomorrow, Torak and Wolf would set out into the bear-haunted forest, and Torak had no idea what he was going to do. Even if they reached the mountain, what next? Should he simply leave the Nanook on the ground? Ask the World Spirit to destroy the bear? Try to fight it on his own? "Do you want new boots, or do we mend yours?" snapped Oslak's mate, who was measuring him for winter clothes. "What?" he said. "Boots," repeated the woman. She had tired eyes and river clay markings on her cheeks, and she was furious with him. He didn't know why. He said, "I'm used to my boots. Could you maybe—" "Mend them?" she snorted. "I think I can manage that." "Thank you," Torak said humbly. He glanced at Wolf, who was cowering in the corner with his ears back. Oslak's mate snatched a length of sinew and spun Torak round to measure his shoulders. "Oh, it'll fit all right," she muttered. "Well, sit down, sit down." Torak sat and watched her tying knots to mark the measurements. Her eyes were moist and she was blinking rapidly. She caught him looking. "What are you staring at?" "Nothing," he replied. "Should I take off my clothes?" "Not unless you want to freeze. You'll have the new things by dawn. Now give me the boots." He did, and she eyed them as if they were a pair of rotting salmon. "More holes than a fishing net," she said. It was a relief when she bustled out of the shelter. She hadn't been gone long when Wren came in. Wolf padded over and licked her fingers. She scratched him behind the ears. Torak wanted to thank her for standing up for him, but he wasn't sure how to start. The silence lengthened. "How did you get on with Vedna?" Wren said abruptly. "Vedna? Oh, Oslak's mate. I don't think she likes me." "It's not that. It's your new clothes. She was making them for her son. Now she's got to finish them for you." "Her son?" "Killed by the bear." "Oh." Poor Vedna, he thought. Poor Oslak. And that explained the river clay. It must be the raven way of mourning. The bruise on Wren's cheek had turned purple. He asked if it hurt. She shook her head. He guessed that she was ashamed of what her brother had done. "What about Finkedin?" he said. "How bad is his leg?" "Bad. Bone deep, but no sign of the blackening sickness." "That's good." He hesitated. "Was he very angry with you?" "Yes, but that's not why I'm here." "So why are you here?" "Tomorrow I'm coming with you." Torak bit his lip. "I think it has to be just me and Wolf." She glared at him. "Why?" "I don't know. I just do." "That's stupid." "Maybe, but that's how it is." "You sound like Finkedin." "That's another reason he'd never allow it." "Since when did I let that stop me?" He grinned. She didn't grin back. Looking thunderous, she moved to the fire at the entrance to the shelter. "You're to eat night meal with him," she said. "It's an honour, in case you didn't know." Torak swallowed. He was scared of Finkedin, but in a strange way he also wanted his approval. Eating night meal with him sounded unnerving. "Will you be there too?" he asked. "No." "Oh." Another silence. Then she relented. "If you like, I'll keep Wolf with me. Best not to leave him alone with the dogs." "Thanks." She nodded. Then she saw his bare feet. "I'll see if I can find you a pair of boots." Some time later, Torak made his way to Finkedin's shelter, stumbling in his borrowed boots, which were much too big. He found the Raven leader in heated talk with Seon, but they stopped when he came in. Seon looked fierce. Finkedin's face gave nothing away. Torak sat cross-legged on a reindeer skin. He couldn't see any food, but people were busy at cooking skins by the long fire. He wondered how soon they would eat, and what he was doing here. "I told you what I think," said Seon. "So you have," Finkedin said evenly. They made no attempt to include Torak, which left him free to study Finkedin's shelter. It was no grander than the others, but from the roof post hung the usual hunter's gear. But the string of the great yew bow was broken, and the white reindeer hide parka was spattered with dried blood, stark reminders that the raven leader had faced the bear and survived. Suddenly, Torak noticed a man watching him from the shadows. He had short brown hair and dark, wizened features. "This is Krukoslik," said Finkedin, "of the Mountain Hare clan." The man put both fists over his heart and bowed his head. Torak did the same. "Krukoslik knows these parts better than anyone," said Finkedin. "Talk to him before you set out. If nothing else, he'll give you a few hints on surviving the mountains. I wasn't impressed by the state you were in when we caught you. No winter clothes, one water skin, and no food. Your father taught you better than that." Torak caught his breath. "So you did know him?" Seun bristled, but Finkedin quelled her with a glance. "Yes," he said, "I knew him. There was a time when he was my best friend." Angrily, Seun turned away. Torak felt himself getting angry too. "If you were his best friend, why did you sentence me to death? Why did you let me fight hard? Why do you keep me tied up while the clan meet decided whether to sacrifice me?" "To see what you were made of," said Finkedin calmly. "You're no good to anyone if you can't use your wits." He paused. "If you remember, I didn't keep you under close guard. I even let you have the wolf cub with you." Torak thought about that. "You mean you were testing me?" Finkedin did not reply. Two men came over from the main fire, carrying 4 steaming birchwood bowls. "Eat," said Krukoslik, handing one to Torak. Finkedin tossed over a horn spoon, and for a while Torak forgot about everything as he dug in hungrily. It was a thin broth made from boiled elk hooves and a few slivers of dried deer heart, bulked up with rowan berries and the tough, tasteless tree mushroom that the clans call aurochs ears. With it, they had a single flat cake of roasted acorn meal, very bitter, but not too bad once it was broken up and mashed into the broth. "I'm sorry we can't do better," said Finkedin, "but prey is scarce." It was the only reference he made to the bear. Torak was too hungry to care. Only when he'd licked his bowl did he notice that Finkedin and Seun had hardly touched theirs. Seun took them back to the cooking skin, then returned to her place. Krukoslik hung his spoon on his belt and went to kneel by the small fire at the entrance to the shelter, where he murmured a brief prayer of thanks. Torak had never seen anyone like him. He wore a bulky robe of brown reindeer hide that hung all the way to his calves, and a broad belt of red buckskin. His clan skin was a mantle of hare fur over the shoulders, dyed a fiery red, and his clan tattoo was a red zigzag band across the forehead. On his breast hung a finger-long shard of smoky rock crystal. He saw Torak looking at it and smiled. "Smoke is the breath of the fire spirit. Mountain clans worship fire above all else." Torak remembered the comfort the fire had given him and Wren in the snow cave. "I can understand that," he said. Krukoslik's smile broadened. With night meal over, Finkedin asked the others to leave so that he could speak to Torak alone. Krukoslik stood up and bowed. Seun gave an angry hiss and swept from the shelter. Torak wondered what was coming next. And we'll find out in part 2.